And now, from Glasgow.
So hi there, welcome to issue 2. Before I go much further, I just need to give you a little bit of a warning. There is a possibility there may not be a video next week. The reason for that is I have held off this just a few weeks just to allow the Hachette issues to come through. The way that it tends to work with the subscriptions is that you get 1 and 2 straight away. And then usually from once issue 6 is released in the shops, then the subscriptions come through up to 6, and then you wait 4 weeks, and roughly when issue 10 is due out, you'll then receive 7, 8, 9 and 10, and so on and so forth. Today is the 25th of February. I am filming this in advance, as you all know I do that. And this week issue 8 is due out, so theoretically the issues have been out issue 3 onwards. I need to allow obviously issue 3 to come out. Now the problem I've got is that I'm away from home for 3 weeks, week beginning when issue 6 is due. Now if I can get this issue 3 filmed, I'm actually, as you're watching this, I'm away from home, but I'm due to come home any day now. Now if the issue is released, I don't want to put any pressure under Scott. I don't want to put any pressure on Scott, but obviously I can't make these issues until he's released his equivalent of issue on the Hachette. Anyway, I'm waffling too much. Right. What we are going to do today, we'll see how much time I've got. We will finish off the pilot seat, which I can tell you is looking good now. It's nice and dry. We'll see how much work we can get done. But first of all, let's go over and have a quick look at what issue 2 are up to. So this is issue 2. So let's have a look.
Okay, so here's everything.
So what we're going to be getting this week is obviously more parts of the nose, but primarily we're going to be doing a turret gun. I think it's a front turret gun, but it just says gun turret. But it looks to me like it might be. No, it won't be the front, will it? But now, so this is my first criticism of the magazine. The first 4 to 6 issues, they tend to sporadic all over the place. If this is the rear gun, which I think it is, and we're working on the front, you can imagine we're not actually going to attach it till we get to the back. We aren't going to get to the back of the Lancaster in a couple of weeks, so it looks like this is actually going to be built and then stuck in a drawer somewhere. So yes, I understand why they released this. Your first sort of 4 issues, you want some nice pieces that people are going to recognize straight away. So I have got my keyboard on the table. So yeah, you want these nice pieces which draws everybody in. As Scott refers to them, they're the lure pieces. They lure you in. But at the same time, why are we doing the rear gun in the early issues? But let's have a look.
We get an issue 2, already rather lovely. So a similar piece what we got in issue 1 over here and here. We've got our machine guns over here, those are electrics. We've got our dome. Now this is different to the trial. So in the trial, you only fitted this glass and did a bit of this, but we're doing a lot more in this one.
So he mentions the trial. Now what Partworks do is they bring something out on trial and then they make any changes they might need to change before they do the final release. So they may have brought the trial out and lots of feedback was given. It's problematic because of this, that or the other. and then they've made those changes based on the feedback.
It is mad fiddly. Okay, you're gonna need glue as well, so it's looking a lot more airfix than part work. This one, I'll be honest with you, because we're putting the chair together in this one. It looks crazy fiddly, but it'll be all right. So
and this is my main criticism about this issue. As Scott says, it's more airfix than part work. Why are we doing it then? You know, if you want to do an airfix, why don't we buy an airfix, which is cheaper? So I have a bit of a criticism there. And as you'll see on the build, it's a really fiddly build. A lot of people are having trouble with it. And other than the electrics, it's just a scale model kit.
Get into it. So these are the parts of focus.
So I'm not going to go through the whole build, but as you can see, it does produce a nice model. Now there's an own goal.
We haven't put that on yet, so I don't know why it's that stage of the instructions. So it's just.
So it looks like they've done the instructions incorrectly. They're showing us parts that are fitted, which we haven't even fitted yet. So I've put that down as an own goal for Hachette. So that sort of, Hong Kong are gaining a point without even doing anything yet. But what I do think is a nice touch is the electrics. The electrics look nice. So let's just fast forward that a little bit. So it's looking nice. It does look nice. Sorry, I forgot to put that on full screen. I do apologise.
In front of the gun sight. So.
But it is mad fiddly. Whoops.
Turret support.
Now I'm a bit sceptical about this glass.
Like rear wall on there. Next, we're going to make the actual the glass for this. Okay, so take my glass section here and take in this section here. We're going to fit this one in. Now, it doesn't need glue, but it's snug as hell. So we're going to have to keep moving this till we find the sweet spot where it clips in. I can feel it's not quite, it looks like it's there, but it ain't. It'll make a very satisfying, there we go.
I love that expression, satisfying click.
No, not quite, nearly there. Nearly there. Just keep moving on this.
So once it's actually done, it doesn't look too bad.
Yes, this is what we're now left with. Once we marry those two together, we have this rather lovely turret. It's looking nice, right? Real nice. We're now going to put the base piece on here. Now we've got to thread these wires through. So we're going to take those through here. Oop, both of them through. Now what we're not going to do is glue it, because if we glue it, we'll have a problem later on. So because this has got a swivel, this is just going to sit in here. So we get that done, and then we've got one more piece to do, and then we're done. So it's threaded through now into our base. We put the back wall on.
Now I've seen a few pictures of people's turrets and they do look a little bit wonky. Scott's looks okay here. I did think it looked wonky, but I think it was just the angle.
This has got a swivel.
Camera angle.
Here. So we get that done. And then we've got one more piece to do, and then we're done.
So you see there, it does look rather wonky, but I do think it's the camera angle. Because once he brings it round a bit.
Put the back wall on, and this just pushes down, and there's 6 pins that hold that in place. Now you don't glue any of that, because what you want is rotation. You don't have tons of rotation. It's got enough, so you can see our gun will rotate. Our gun will rotate. But it's looking beautiful, right? It's looking really. We do have a lot of pieces left over.
You see there, the turrets, the guns actually do look really well lined up. And one thing that this has, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do with the Hong Kong models, the little nano lights, which he does test.
So we've got.
He did
all
test.
Of this left as well, if I can show you. So all this is left.
So look, we've got spare pieces.
We do have a lot of pieces to attach it to there, so I'm actually going to put it on.
So yeah, there you go. I mean, it does look nice, but I do think, I try to give it a bit of a rating system, and just looking at the Hachette, I'm giving it 1-1 because the nano lights are really good. and I'm a little bit jealous. I don't know if I'll be able to do that on mine, but at the same time they're making it like a model kit, and you're going to be assembling it with super glue or push fit connections, and I have a little bit of a problem with that, because if that's what you're going to do, you know, if a lot of the build is super glue, I don't think the super glue lasts that well, does it? It does eventually, you know, maybe in 10 years or so this super glue is going to degrade. Will the model fall apart? Whereas if you're using scale, you know, plastic scale model glue on plastic scale model plastic, it's going to hold. But yeah, so I'm giving it sort of a 1-1. So yeah, what do you think, guys? The Hachette doesn't look too bad. Now it is issue 2, so the price has gone up a little bit. Issue 1 is the introductory issue, which is $1.90. I think it was $1.99. It might even be $2.99. This issue is $6.99. From issue 3, it's going to be full price. Right, let's go over to my Lancaster. So this is what we have done from last issue. It's only, technically it's about a third done. It looks, I think it's about half done, but it's the first step of the instructions. It's had plenty of time to set, since the glue is fully cured, and because I've jumped ahead, got this floor piece, I've put them into the holes, so I know that when it comes to gluing that down, it's going to fit. So what I need to do now, I'll just bring the instructions up at some point so you can see what we're doing. So I'm going to do the second and the third stages, and we should get this cockpit, this pilot seat finished by the end of this issue. So I am really sorry, but my microphone turned off while I was recording, so you missed everything I did. So I'm going to have to talk you through it. On the plus side, it will make the video a lot shorter. So I have finished assembling. I've popped the arms on, and I've popped the back on. Now what I have not done, I want something pointy. I have not glued the seat on, and the reason I've not glued the seat on is because there's going to be some photo etched seat belts. Oh, trust me to use. Oh well, looks like touch-ups are coming up. Right, so I haven't glued the seat on because I've got the seat belts. I've got a horrible feeling that the paint's going to come off that photo etch. But what I'd like to do is, I may not even glue the seat on, to be honest with you. So as you can see, it was, most of the seat has been done in a AK11847 RAF cockpit grey green, and the darker green bits, which is basically all the padding, has been done in an AK11150 gunship green. Now once it's finished, I will want to check that's the right way around. See, that goes in quite snugly, and I'm really happy with that fit. But this has been painted a few hours ago, so I want to let it set and properly cure. I have to keep checking the instructions. Yeah, that is the correct way round. So I'm going to try and get the seat belts so that they wrap around from behind, and then the actual ends of the photo etch will then be covered up, so it'll look like it comes from the seat. That's why I'm not gluing it on. I haven't decided if it's going to be easier if I push it in, or if I put it in and then put the seat on top. So I'm really sorry that we missed this. It is a shame. So what I'll do, the policy that I've got is that when I do something for the first time, I will show you fully how I do it. So obviously I've missed out on doing a load of airbrushing, how to set the airbrush up. As you can see from the beginning of the video, I did do I just said, like, you know, I've cleaned these up and off I go. I had a couple of problems. Now all that's left to do on this seat then, as I said, the seat belt, What I've decided I'm probably going to do, the circle there, why have I just touched that with a wet brush? So there should be a circle of yellow at the back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little circle mask with masking tape, and then I'll just probably just touch it with a bit of airbrush, and then we'll make that yellow. If I put masking tape on it now, it's going to straight away rip all the paint off. I will be varnishing it as well. I'll probably put a matte varnish over the top, and that will protect all of the paint work. And then what we'll do next week, I'm not sure, well, I think I did mention it. I'm actually going to do start stage 2. Now you'll see there's things of different colours. There's C's and there's D's. Now C and D refers to RAF night and RAF interior green, and then stage 3 is D's, and then stage 4 is D with an H, and stage 5 is C, mostly C with some D's. So what we're going to do is probably going to hit those 4 stages, might even pick up stage 6 as well. And what we'll do is we'll cut all the pieces out, we'll get them all ready, we'll set them up for painting, and then we'll take a couple of weeks on this. So although we'll be on sections 2 to 6, we might be on it for about 2 or 3 weeks. Obviously there'll be little bits to pick up on the seat. So what we're actually going to end up doing is kind of going forwards and backwards a little bit. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, maybe 3 steps forwards, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 3 steps back, etc, etc. Right guys, so I do apologise for a bit of a cock up, but like I say, at least I get a short video out of it. I will be weathering this, but I think it's a bit pointless to weather it before we get the cockpit floor in place, which is going to be stage 9. I do have some purchasing to do. I have been told that instrument panel is terrible, so I will be buying an aftermarket part. So obviously that's going to pop the cost up a little bit, but you know, that's the way it is. If you want something a little bit nice, I'm making this so that I'm happy, and I think that will make me happy. Right guys, so let's go over to the costings. Okay, so you may notice there's a new set of columns on the right, and that is rating. So obviously each time I say, oh, that's a point per Hachette, or it's an own goal, or it's something for, I'm going to just make a list it there. So issue 2 is $6.99 from Hachette, and that gives us the gun turret and the fuselage. I've also added on 2 pots of varnish. Now again, because I know what I was saying before, and I can't remember if it was the bit that did record or the bit that didn't. I keep mentioning varnish, so I think it's only fair to pop in a couple of pots of varnish, 1 matte, 1 gloss. I did mention that the green on the seats, obviously I've painted it with a matte paint. It needs to have a gloss varnish over it. Obviously a simple cheat is, if you need 2 colours, well, it's the same colour but a matte version and a gloss version, don't buy 2 separate pots of paint. Just paint the same colour and then apply a gloss varnish over the top. It'll do exactly the same job. So obviously having that matte gloss varnish, we will need them at some point anyway. When we do the decals, when we do the weathering, they will going to be needed. So for some reason, oh, the running costs, of course. So far up to issue 2, if you've been going the Hachette route, you will have spent a total of £8.98. Now we've spent £5.50. Check my maths, £2.75 times twice, I make that £5.50. So the gap is closing ever so slightly, because Hachette, everyone buying the Hachette has spent a little bit more than the Hong Kong people, but we are still £388.91 difference. Now I was impressed with the electrics for the gun on the Hachette version. as I often say, I am batting for Team Hong Kong. I do want the Hong Kong project to finish because that's the project I've chosen, but I'm trying to be fair. The main reason I like it is because I don't think I'm going to be able to replicate it on the Hong Kong, but whether I can or whether I can't, you can't deny it's not nice. So you can't deny it's nice on the Hong Kong. However, the way that it assembles, you'll notice that I've titled this Hachette or Revell. That's a little bit of a reference to Building with the Boys, and he mentions that it's pretty much goes together like a Revell kit. If the Hachette version goes together like a Revell kit, why are we not buying a Revell kit or an Airfix or whatever? In this case, it's it's the Hong Kong. So I don't like gluing things together on a part work. It's probably just me, but if you're going to have to glue small pieces together, why not just do the Hong Kong or the Border Models version? So I've called that an own goal for Hachette. The next point I've given for Hong Kong is this seat. I think this seat is fantastic. There's so much detail. I mean, you could be forgiven for saying, well, of course there's more detail, it's larger, but it is superb. It's crisp and it's lovely, and when the detail is sharp and crisp, it makes it so much easier to paint. So I've given a point to Hong Kong. So they've now edged out. They've got a little bit of a further lead. So they're now 3 points in front. How this is going to finish, I really don't know. Plus this is the first week that I've spent less money than the Hachette people. Right, so guys, that's going to be it for me for this week. Next week we will be working on multiple stages, but we're going to be remaining on the multiple stages for a few weeks. Let's say we're only doing a little bit each week, but I just think it's going to be easier to do it that way. I am also contemplating painting up fuselage and cockpit floors. They will be needed to be painted at some stage. But then again, this seat that I've painted an hour ago, it's already got scratches on it because we've not been able to protect it. If we had the fuselage, are we going to have scratches on and end up having to do it again? So I haven't decided quite how it's going to go, but it looks like it might not get painted up, but we'll see. Right guys, so I will return next week when we will be working on stages 2, 3, 4, 5 and possibly 6, but we will remain on those stages for probably 2 or 3 weeks. So let's say I'm going to take this nice and gently. So take care guys. I hope to see you next week. As I did say at the beginning, because of the schedule that Hachette releases their magazines, it may delay this for a bit. I do need to sort of remain a little bit behind the Hachette, just because obviously of their schedule. So take care guys, I'll see you in the next video.